the heart of ancient India, under the gentle rustling of sal trees, a prince was born, not just to rule a kingdom, but to guide humanity. This is the story of Siddhartha Gautama, the man who left behind wealth, power, and royal luxury in search of something far greater: truth, liberation, and enlightenment. From the lavish palaces of Kapilavastu to the quiet forests of asceticism, from questions that haunted his soul to the peace he found under the Bodhi Tree. This is not just a story of a man, but a spiritual journey that changed the world. Today, we walk with him through moments of doubt, determination, and divine wisdom. This is not just a life story. This is the eternal journey of the Buddha. So sit back, open your heart, and let the light of awareness guide you as we explore one of the most inspiring journeys ever lived. In the ancient kingdom of Kapilavastu, nestled in the Himalayan foothills of what is now Nepal, a significant event took place over 2,500 years ago. Queen Maya Devi, wife of King Suddhodana of the Shakya clan, gave birth to a son in the gardens of Lumbini. The child emerged not in tears, but in serenity, and legend holds that he took 7 steps and declared that this would be his last birth on earth. The earth trembled, flowers bloomed, and celestial beings rejoiced. This was no ordinary birth. This was the birth of Siddhartha Gautama, the one who would become the Buddha. King Suddhodana called upon astrologers and wise sages who predicted a great future for the prince. They said he would either become a great emperor or a supreme spiritual teacher. Concerned that Siddhartha might choose the path of renunciation, the king decided to shield him from all forms of suffering and exposure to the harsh realities of life. Siddhartha was raised in unmatched luxury, surrounded by pleasure, art, beauty, and comfort. He lived in 3 palaces, one for each season. He was trained in philosophy, martial arts, statecraft, and literature. He was noble in both body and spirit. At the age of 16, Siddhartha married the beautiful and graceful Princess Yashodhara. Together they had a son, whom they named Rahula. The king believed that fatherhood would further tie the prince to worldly responsibilities. But deep inside Siddhartha's heart, there was a restlessness, a longing for something beyond the physical realm. As he approached the age of 29, Siddhartha insisted on venturing outside the palace walls. His father reluctantly agreed, carefully planning the journey to keep all signs of suffering out of sight. But destiny intervened. On 4 separate outings, Siddhartha encountered what are now known as the 4 sights. 1. An old man, his body bent, his face wrinkled. 2. A sick man, suffering and in pain. 3. A dead body, lifeless and still. 4. A serene ascetic, peaceful and detached. These experiences shattered Siddhartha's illusions. He realized that all beings, regardless of wealth or power, were subject to aging, sickness, and death. But the sight of the ascetic gave him hope that liberation from suffering was possible. That night, Siddhartha made a momentous decision. With a heavy heart, he looked at his sleeping wife and son one last time, kissed them silently, and left the palace. Clad in simple robes, with a shaved head and begging bowl, he renounced all worldly possessions in search of the ultimate truth. This was the great renunciation. Siddhartha wandered through forests and towns, seeking guidance from the most learned spiritual teachers of his time. He studied under Alara Kalama and Udaka Ramaputta, mastering deep meditative states. But even these experiences did not bring him the ultimate peace he sought. He realized that intellectual knowledge and mystical states were not enough. He then turned to extreme asceticism. For 6 years, he subjected himself to rigorous self-denial. He fasted, until he was emaciated, meditated for hours without moving, and exposed himself to the harsh elements. His body grew frail, but his resolve remained unshaken. He was joined by 5 ascetics who admired his determination. One day, while bathing in the Naranjana River, he collapsed from weakness. A village girl named Sujata offered him a bowl of rice and milk. As he ate, his strength returned, and so did clarity. He realized that neither luxury nor self-torture would lead to enlightenment. The path lay in balance, in the middle way. His companions, thinking he had abandoned the spiritual path, left him, but Siddhartha pressed on. He made his way to a place called Bodh Gaya, where he found a large pipal tree. Sitting beneath it, he vowed, "I will not rise from this seat until I have found the truth." For 49 days, Siddhartha meditated under what would come to be known as the Bodhi Tree. He faced powerful temptations and illusions from Maya, the lord of desire and death. Maya sent his daughters to seduce him, his demons to terrify him, and his voice to whisper doubts. But Siddhartha sat still, unmoved, his mind pierced through the veil of illusion. In the final watch of the night, he attained enlightenment. He saw the cycle of birth and rebirth, the causes of suffering, and the path to liberation. He understood the 4 noble truths and the law of dependent origination. At the age of 35, Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha, the awakened one. In the final watch of the night, he attained enlightenment. He saw the cycle of birth and rebirth, the causes of suffering, and the path to liberation. He understood the 4 noble truths and the law of dependent origination. At the age of 35, Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha, the awakened one. He spent several days in silent contemplation, overwhelmed with compassion for all beings. At first, he hesitated to teach, believing the truth might be too difficult for others to grasp. But Brahma, the celestial deity, implored him to share his wisdom. And so, the Buddha set out to teach the world. Buddha's first sermon was delivered in Sarnath to the 5 ascetics who had once abandoned him. He taught the 4 noble truths. 1. Life is suffering, dukkha. 2. Suffering is caused by desire, tanha. 3. Suffering can end, nirodha. 4. There is a path to end suffering, magga, the noble eightfold path. The eightfold path consists of right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. His teaching spread quickly. People from all walks of life, princes and paupers, Brahmins and outcasts, men and women, flocked to him. He accepted all without judgment. He founded the Sangha, the monastic community, and established rules for ethical conduct and spiritual practice. The Buddha traveled on foot across the Indian subcontinent for 45 years. He engaged with kings and commoners, corrected false teachings, and encouraged inquiry. He emphasized direct experience over blind faith and told his disciples, "Be a lamp unto yourselves." He taught compassion over cruelty, mindfulness over ignorance, simplicity over indulgence. He healed the minds of the tormented, forgave those who tried to harm him, and remained grounded in humility. He taught the importance of intention, the reality of karma, and the illusion of the ego. At the age of 80, while staying in Kushinagar, the Buddha fell seriously ill after eating a meal offered by a blacksmith named Kunda. Knowing his end was near, he gave his final instructions to his disciples. His last words were, "All compounded things are subject to decay. Strive on with diligence." He lay down between 2 sal trees, surrounded by monks and followers, with serenity on his face and peace in his heart. He passed into Mahaparinirvana, the final release from the cycle of birth and death. The world wept, but his light remained. His teachings lived on through generations, shaping civilizations and guiding countless souls. Gautam Buddha's life is not just a historical account, but a spiritual journey that reflects the inner potential of every human being. He showed that peace is not found in power or possessions, but in the purification of the mind. He lived with purpose, taught with compassion, and departed with grace. His legacy teaches us to seek truth through personal experience, embrace impermanence, live ethically and mindfully, cultivate compassion and wisdom. He remains a beacon of light for those who seek liberation, not through belief, but through awakening. This is the life of the Buddha, the Enlightened One, the teacher of truth, the guide to inner peace. From the moment Queen Maya dreamed of a white elephant to the final sermon between twin sal trees, Gautam Buddha's life was a river of compassion, wisdom, and profound inner discovery. He renounced a throne, walked barefoot through forests, faced temptation, and transformed suffering into strength, not just for himself, but for millions across centuries. His message was simple, yet eternal. Peace lies not outside, but within. In a world still searching for peace, his life stands as a luminous example. If his story touched your heart, take a moment to reflect. May his teachings inspire you to walk your own path with mindfulness, kindness, and courage. Thank you for watching. And remember, in the silence of your heart, the Buddha still speaks. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more soul-enriching stories. Until next time, stay aware, stay kind,